Good morning, guys. Good morning, Scalda and Ryan and Vince. Um, I'm doing okay, Scalda. I can't say doing great. Oh, thanks, man. It was just one of those things where you upload your logo and then click buy it now. I got it at Render Forest. um, I've got like an ear infection going on, and so I currently have no hearing at all right now in my left ear, and my equilibrium's all off, and my left ear is normally my good ear. So losing the hearing right now in my left ear and not being able to hear out of it, I'm down to about 35-40% total hearing. It's not it's not good. Like, if I don't get this straightened up, my next week of gigs is going to be tough because it's really hard to sing when you can't hear. My wife is going to try to make me a doctor's appointment today at some point. So as the title says, we're making some progress on the Tornado, which is now moved up to the top shelf. There it is. Making some progress on the Tornado. On Mike Whaley's stream last week, we got the stepper voltages and the power supply voltage all dialed in. Everything's good there now. Morning, D. Morning, Mike. They help walk me through that process, and it's not that bad. It's not that hard to do. And so after we got the stepper voltages dialed in, and we started tuning the E-steps for the steppers as well, which isn't that bad. Thankfully, Ben Craig popped in and walked me through setting up Repeat Your Host, and so I used Repeat Your Host to make changes to the E-steps. And at that point, we got a calibration cube that's very ugly but dimensionally accurate. It looks like a sponge. It's got some crazy looking stuff. If I can get the camera to focus on it. Come on. Anyway, don't know if you guys can see that. It looks like a sponge. It's crazy. And the Y is not centered. Oh, there you go. You can see some of the crazy, strange sponginess. So that got me to start trying to dial in the E-steps on the extruder, which led me to conclude that the extruder had some other issues. So I took the extruder apart and adjusted the tension on the springs and all that kind of stuff and put it back together. And then went through adjusting the E-steps again. Now, I think this was because I was printing too fast, but we got the extrusion solved, but as you can see, we had a couple, well, like 4 massive layer shifts. So we're getting there. We're capable of dimensionally accurate if it doesn't layer shift. And now we're capable of extruding. So slowly but surely I'm getting this thing dialed in. I'm going to have this thing printing soon, I hope. Because this was nearly perfect dimensionally. Just under extruded all get out. It's kind of cool looking though. And then got that problem solved, but had some layer shifts. So I'm going to check the belt tension and the eccentrics on the wheels on the bed again, and fiddle with jerk settings and stuff, trying to dial that in. But I think we're getting close to having a usable printer now. It's been a long bumpy road. It hasn't been, there hasn't been any money involved in fixing it. Just been a matter of tweaking and adjusting all over the thing. Which I would say for most, if you were wanting to just buy a printer, set it up and start using it, this would be totally unacceptable. But for me, because I'm willing to tinker and work, and I got such a sweet deal on it, it hasn't frustrated me, because I know I'll get it there eventually with the help of this wonderful community. Like I said, Mike Whaley and Dee and all the folks over in Mike's stream helped me tremendously last week getting the stepper voltages set and getting the E-steps set. So we're close. I'm gonna slice the file through Kira today, and instead of trying to print through Repetier Host and adjust my speeds there, because it's easier for me to do there, and try printing this again and see what we come up with, to see if any of the problems that I'm having right now are the slicer in Repetier, just in case. So I'm going to check the tension on the belts and the eccentrics today, and then slice something in just regular Kira and put it on the SD card and print it a little slower. Maybe adjust the jerk settings a little bit, and because I think that's why we had layer shifting, as I was just printing so fast, and it's probably way too fast for a bed that heavy, because it layer shifted on the Y every time. So it's crazy looking. What I think is funny is the Y doesn't shift with the rest of the print. The Y is intact. Is that weird? Wouldn't you think that the Y, the letter, would shift with the print? Yeah, it's Tanner 3D in chat today. That's kind of what it is. Which I'm glad that with my current hearing issue, I'm glad that I can read what y'all are saying, don't have to listen, because I can't hear squat. It's bad. This was the slicer that's built into Repetier Host, which is using the Kira engine. But I use Repetier Host to dial in the E-steps and all that. So, because it makes it easy to make changes to your EEPROM and just save it. But the settings that are in there, yeah, that's what I would have thought. I would have thought the Y would have shifted with it, but for some reason it printed the Y, it shifted everything else. Yeah, so I'm going to try it today on just regular Kira and saving it on the SD card. Yeah, I'm gonna do that as well. I'm gonna re-download the calibration cube and slice it using just regular Kira and put it on the SD card and print it that way. And that way I'll be able to more easily know where my speeds and walls and all that are. Because I'm sure I can find it in Repetier Host, but Repetier Host is just not as user friendly when it comes to your slicer settings. Well, this was printed while tethered to the computer. No SD card involved. This was tethered to the computer through Repetier Host and printed that way. So, Like even this one that we got dimensionally accurate but spongy, the Y is clearly off center. So I don't know, but it's dimensionally accurate. Just the Y is off center, which is strange. So I don't know if maybe it's possible the STL was corrupt when I downloaded it or something. I don't know, but it slices fine. There's no errors in it. So I'm going to try it again today and see if I can't get the Tornado going. Because if I can get the Tornado going, then when I dive back into printing the tank, it's going to be much nicer to have two large format printers that I can, because I have a roll and a half of the khaki color that is going to be the body. So if I can have two large format printers both cranking out the body, then I can start making some headway on the tank again. So yeah, I shifted some stuff around, moved the Tornado up. The X1 is now sitting down where the Tornado used to be. It's down there because I figured the X1 doesn't get used as often anymore, and even when it does, its prints aren't long, so it's not as big a deal to let it sit down there. The Tornado is sporting the Ender 2's spool holder right now. Since the Ender 2's down, I'm like, put that spool holder on it. I need to print a nice spool holder to put on top of the Tornado so the Ender 2 can have its back whenever I rebuild the Ender 2. But again, the Ender 2 rebuild is still a little ways down the road. I just got back from St. Louis. I was in St. Louis last 2 days. We got back last night and was visiting my grandson, which was awesome. It was fun. It's good getting to see him. And we took our dog with us, and he didn't like the trip. And Joey was not happy. And when we got up there, of course, my stepdaughter has dogs, and Joey doesn't like Cody, her little boy Pomeranian dog, and so they would go round and round. Had to keep Joey on his leash in the house and keep him away from Cody. But it was just, we were just there, I don't know, 30 hours or so. So Joey was happy to get home. And Joey doesn't like car rides anyway. He's like the one dog I've ever seen that just hates being in the car. So it was a crappy 4-hour each way drive. So yeah, I'll re-download the calibration cube. We'll slice it with regular Kira. Make sure my Y belt is tensioned properly and the eccentrics are dialed in on the bed, and that the jerk settings aren't too high. I think they're at 15. Does anybody have an idea about jerk settings on a Tornado? On the Y? Let me see here. Oh, wow. Hopefully that wouldn't kill in the stream. I forgot to stop it over here in the dashboard. 12 to 20. Well, it's at 15 right now, so I guess I could take it down a little. Alright, so let's bring you over here. Let's grab the chat and bring it over here. Let's go to the screen share. laptop. The good news is my wife is fully on board with the new computer thing now. In fact, she surprised me yesterday. She's like, if I can just hold out till March 22nd when my royalty check comes in, she's like, so she upped my budget considerably. So she added about $1,000 to my budget, which will make it pretty easy to get a pretty hardcore computer. Oh, you guys. All right, so let's go Thingiverse. Oh, bunch of stuff on the dashboard. What's on the dashboard? Somebody liked my four-door Jeep. Somebody started following me. Somebody added a bunch of my vehicles to things to make. Cool. Scalda published his open source belt printer. Very cool, Scalda. If you're still here, that's awesome. All right. Okay. So let's do XYZ calibration cube. If I can spell and type today. What the heck is that thing? Doesn't look like a calibration cube. It looks like it's got a calibration cube in it, but I don't know what that is. Right, yeah, when a stranger is following you. Yeah, I've got a stranger following me. I pointed out the other day, I was like, in this day and age, the song Fishing in the Dark, he talks about he's going to take this girl way out to a place where nobody knows. And I'm like, ladies, now this day and age, don't do that. Don't do that. If he's taking you out someplace where nobody knows where you're at, that's not a good thing. Don't do that. Well, that's interesting. So that one, you're getting to see if your circles are round too. Anyway, I can't remember whose calibration cube I used. Guess this one. Waiting for Thingiverse. We all spend a great deal of time waiting for Thingiverse to react. Come on, Thingiverse. Hey, John. Oh, that's a good point. Stop this. Search by makes. There we go. So that one's been liked over 13,000, almost 14,000 times. And has 766 makes. All right, we'll download this one. Thing files. Get that one. All right, and then let's get Kira opened up. Kira. 3.6. Oh, 14,000 people can be wrong. 14,000 people can definitely be wrong. I was going to say something sports related, but I think I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Just in case there's fans of that particular team watching the video, I'll leave it alone. Ta-da, Kira. Yay. Open file. Wait, no. Got a tornado. Settings. Printer. Tornado. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, but no. I've lost some subscribers, actually. I'm down a couple. And I don't know, maybe it's because I can't do the things that I want to do on here because of my current computer limitations. That every time I, get into, designing something, it crashes. Yeah, it's the same calibration cube that I had downloaded before because it's a repeat. But we'll open this one. All right. So now I need... SD card. Slice this puppy. Oh, I forgot to look. Make sure my... Oh, turn the supports off. Don't let supports. No jerk control. Let the printer handle that. Top and bottom thickness, 0.8. 4 top layers, 4 bottom layers. I don't know if I need that much, but... yeah. Layer height of 0.2. 210, 60, 50 millimeters a second. Alright, prepare. Save to removable drive. Eject. Alright. Turn on the tornado. A little blue in the spot. Belt tension feels good. There's a little catch right there, like a flat spot on one of the wheels. Right there. It's in that same spot every time. Now look at the wheels. Huh. Well, that might be part of my problem. Feels like there's a flat spot on one of the wheels. At least one. And that exactly where the bed is sitting right now. So I'm going to have to investigate that further. We're going to go ahead and print this thing and see. Print from SD. Calibration cube. All right. So yeah, I'll take a look at that. Maybe that's why I was getting a layer shift. We got 8 people watching. 8 people watching me slice and print something. Yeah, I'm hoping, you know, when next month, I guess almost exactly a month away, the 22nd of March is when I'll have the funds. I'll get to go out, buy a new computer. We can get back to designing stuff, and with a hopefully stable computer, and definitely faster and better. When is March 22nd? Let's look. It'll be shortly after my birthday, because my birthday is on the 18th. So it'll be Friday. Oh, man. So I'll get the payment on Friday. I won't have time to do anything on Friday. Friday I'll be busy. So Saturday morning, I guess I can go out and buy the computer. Then I'll have it set up by the stream on the 26th. Okay. So we're looking at hopefully March 26th. We'll be streaming on a new computer and back to designing. And I'm going to just go ahead and go jump both feet into Blender 2.8 when I do that as well. Well, the bed's already heated. The extruder is heating now. And this says it's 27 minutes. Well, because the new computer is also going to be my recording computer. Booger stuck to the extruder. Can't get it, or the nozzle. Now there. There's my So this is printing much slower than 27 minutes is what this is estimated at. And when I was printing through Repetti Your Host was printing these calibration cubes in like 12 minutes. So more than twice as fast. And I think that was just too much speed for this machine. Oh, I do have my phone. I was like, what? I heard my phone. Yeah, so yeah, it was printing with 15% infill. It was printing them in 12 minutes. And I have a doctor's appointment set up for Thursday. Just like that. My wife works in a doctor's office, so you're wondering why I let her handle that kind of stuff. It's because, well, she works in a doctor's office. Yeah, I think so, Ryan. I think it was too fast, and I think that's what was causing the layer shifts. What I think was funny is we didn't get any layer shifts with this one, but we were under extruded. And then this one we extruded right, but we got layer shifts out the wazoo. While we've got this open, I'm going to take a look at... Yeah, the Y is centered up on there. I wanted to make sure the Y was centered on the model itself, and I wasn't looking at the Y going, why are you always off center? And then it'd be off center here. Yeah, I think I may have to, when I dive into that situation, I may have to order some more wheels and replace them. Because the flat spot is with the bed almost in the middle, so you know it's crossing that flat spot every time, even on a small print. Okay. Or I could steal wheels off of the off the Ender 2, which is broken right now. That way I don't have to wait for them to come in. And then the wheels I order will go on the Ender 2. Because there's on that same one spot, I mean, literally every time it gets to that spot, you feel a thunk, and the bed stops, and then it pushes past it, and it's smooth on either side of it, but you hit that spot, it just goes thunk and stops. Which could be causing layer shifts. It could cause skipped steps in the Y, all sorts of stuff. So. Yeah, I'll pick the bones of the Ender 2 carcass and get the Tornado working. Order replacement wheels for the Ender 2 when I order the... I'm still thinking I want to put a large board on it. I am. And I'll probably start that project at the end of next month as well. Yeah, it's printing much slower. And then I want to get Octoprint set up. I want to get all the stuff necessary to do that and get that set up on the S4 at least, if not the S4 and the Tornado, since they're both larger machines, and I can keep an eye on them and trust them more to print when I'm not hovering right over them. Because that's one of the biggest hurdles for me printing wise, is I just don't want to leave printers running that I can't periodically at least walk in the room and check on. And so if I got Octoprint set up and going, then I could check on the printers while I'm away and even stop them if something's wrong. I wanted to stop at Micro Center on the drive home yesterday, but the dog wouldn't have it. The dog was driving us nuts in the car, so it was like, no. I can't afford a 20-30 minute pit stop at Micro Center. I was going to stop at Micro Center and go ahead and buy, for sure, the Raspberry Pi and stuff, but I went, no, just need to get the dog home. Sucked driving right by one, pretty much right by a Micro Center and not stopping at it. We'll go take a look at this thing. I might be over extruding a little bit. But I'll let it finish. I always let these things finish even when I see a problem, these calibration cubes, because I think then, you know, I have a nice complete picture of what it's doing. We're getting there though. But what we discovered when we set the stepper voltages was the stepper voltage. No, he don't like Petco either. He doesn't like leaving the house, period. Unless it's to go for a walk. Yeah, he needs a $5 Pi Zero. Well, I think even the big Raspberry Pis, I think they've got them for what, like 35 bucks? Support animal. We've thought about trying to get him certified to be a support animal, and just say he's my emotional support dog. Yeah. So I was gonna get the big one, the 3B plus, and set it up on the, try to learn to set it up and set it up on the S4. The belt is fine. I just checked the belt. The belt's not too tight at all, and matter of fact, it may be even bordering on a little too loose. But it's the wheels. There's definitely a flat spot, because when the bed gets almost perfectly in the middle, it just goes thunk and stops. And then when you give it a little extra effort, it pushes past it, and then it rolls fine to the back. And then as you roll it back to the forward in that same spot, it just thunk stops. So I think it's a wheel issue. I'll dissect that later today after the stream. Maybe hop on Mike's stream tomorrow and do it. I don't know. So a touch screen for the Pi, would that just be displaying the same thing that you when you log into the like web interface of the Octoprint? You could just display that on the touch screen at all times. No. But I didn't do it to all 6 wheels to find which wheel might be the culprit, or if it's multiple wheels that are the culprit. I'll look closer at it here in a bit, but I need to flip the machine over on its side and get a good look at it that way. Maybe even take the wheels off. So far, no layer shifts, but the Y is off center again. The Y is very clearly way off center. I'll have to measure it when it gets done and see if maybe the cube itself is scrunched on the Y again. And again, maybe that's the flat spots on the wheels. Gosh. We'll get it. We'll get it. Turn it on its side now. No. Yes, I downloaded a new cube. Whole new file. Does anybody know, does the Tornado have a bootloader on it already, or is that something I'm going to have to deal with, it not having a bootloader? Bigger hammer. I got an 8-pound sledge out in the garage. Somewhere, buried under stuff. My garage is a mess. But yeah, looking at the multitudes of different calibration cubes, they've all been ugly. This one was the prettiest one, but it was only 16 millimeters in the Y direction. And this was before we tuned the stepper voltages, this one. And it has the infill poking all through the outside wall, and this weird thing going on here, which I don't know what that is. But before we tuned the stepper voltages, when we got in there, the Y-axis motor was at 1.36. So the Y stepper was way over voltaged. Yeah, I probably need to do that as well. Flash the firmware. I'm sure somebody's got a YouTube video up of flashing firmware on the Tornado. Good call, Vince. Yeah, we can do that for sure. But I know I need to address those wheels before I go any farther. I'll just let it print this one, and we'll see. That's true too. Yeah, I could do that. Yes, I did. I got to use the multimeter, and I ended up using the fluke that you sent me, John, and thank you for that. Because I tried it at first with the, I don't even know how to say the model name, one that Chris Riley sent me, and the multimeter he sent me was broke. Right out of the package, it didn't work. But the fluke did, man. The fluke worked. Battery's already installed. Just turn it on, touch the stuff, and make the adjustments. It was great. So thank you for that. The joke was made that I could use the fluke to try to fix the multimeter that Chris sent me. Oh yeah. I don't seem to have any luck with stuff that Chris sends me. Except for the X1. The X1 that he sent me works. But the Ender 2 he sent me broke a few days in. The Tornado has never worked right. And the multimeter he sent me was broke when it got here. It doesn't read anything. We were touching it to positive and negative, and it was still showing 0, no matter what. And I'm like, I'm doing something wrong here. And they're like, no, that's what you should be doing. You should be reading 24 volts right now. I'm like, I'm not reading anything. It's 0. And so they're like, try a different multimeter. I'm like, I can do that. So I busted the fluke out of the package that you sent me, John, and touched it, and it was like 24.3 volts. I'm like, perfect. Great. Did you see Tom made Chris dance? He had a YouTube video and taking loops of Chris moving his hands and stuff, making it look like he was dancing. It's hilarious. Well, I have 3 meters, and one I know works, and one hasn't been tried, and another one I know doesn't work. But the fluke, which is still sitting right there, worked like a champ. Now, still no layer shifts. Still no layer shifts. Yeah, I might do that just for grins. Turn that model 45 degrees and see what happens. So I guess I could pull a stepper and some wheels off of the Ender 2 and see if maybe the stepper got damaged from being overvolted for that long, and put a different stepper back there and check the wheels and swap them out if need be. After 22 years of hard use. Well, yeah, you got your money's worth there. Oh yeah. The cube is short in the Y direction, and we had tuned the E steps before, so I think maybe that there may be something to that stepper motor, or the wheels. One of the two is causing missteps. Yeah. Which is sad because it printed beautifully for a few days before before this. This little component here decided to go poof. So yeah, I'll pull one of the steppers off of the I'll pull the Y stepper off the Ender 2 and investigate those wheels, and if need be, pull some wheels off the Ender 2. There's not going to be much left of the Ender 2 at this rate. I've already stole the spool holder from it and pneumatic fittings from it. So it has no board in it. The pneumatic fittings are gone. The spool holder's gone. Pretty soon it's going to be missing 6 wheels and a stepper motor. But they're all things that I can replace whenever I do the rebuild. Although many more parts and the rebuild will be just building. It won't be a rebuild as much as it'll be just building, because there won't be any original stuff left. Yeah, because they use the same architecture across, you know. Yeah, it'll be a true rebuild. The only thing that's going to be left is the hot end, the wires, and the extrusions. Yeah, we can rebuild them. We have the technology. No, 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 no. I need coffee. Would you all mind terribly if I stepped away and made a cup of coffee? This thing's still got a few minutes before we... And then hopefully about the time I come back with the coffee, we'll be just about ready to pull the cube off the bed and take a look. But it's definitely short in the Y direction. And that's why the Y is off center. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I have a Keurig. Hi. Right. Normally, he's not much of a lap dog. I think he's still stressed out from the traumatic experience of his trip to St. Louis. He says, "Daddy, there was other dogs there, and I did not like it. I do not like other dogs." He said, "I'm the only dog." He does. Good boy. Go play. Yeah, I've got the Keurig K200. It'll do the carafe, the big carafe, and which is like 4 cups of coffee. And I bought the thing that you can put your own coffee grounds in to make the carafe, so I don't have to buy carafe size cups. The carafe K cups. Yeah, it's touchscreen. Only thing that's a pain with mine is the water tank. For some reason, draws ants. These teeny little black ants, and they like to get in the water tank. So I got to keep an eye on the water tank, and make sure it's not full of ants before I go to use it. Yeah, and for some reason they love the water tank. I don't know why. And we pay an exterminator to try to get rid of these little ants, and even the exterminator is having a hard time getting rid of these little buggers. I told the exterminator last time he was here, I said, "Look, dude," I said, "I pay you to win. I can lose all by myself." And I said, "So if you're going to lose, I'm going to stop paying you. Because I can lose. I pay you to win." They went at it extra hard last time they were here. I haven't seen any in over a week now, so I'm optimistic. Maybe my because the guy that comes out to service my house is actually the regional manager. Every once in a while, one of his just regular guys comes out, but the guy that normally comes out, he's the manager of the whole region, and he services my house himself because he lives in the subdivision. So maybe he took it to heart when I said, "Look, dude, I'm not paying you to lose. I can lose for free." Right? All right, let's take a look. Let's see. Wow, is it way short on the Y direction? Way short. So, extrusion is good, But the Y is way off center because the Y is only... It's like so painfully obvious that the Y is short. The Y is only 17 millimeters wide instead of 20. The X is 20.47 and the Z is 20.04. Oh wait, okay, 20.4 on the X. But the Y is 17.1. So, yeah, the Y isn't going nearly as far as it should. Right, well, especially since my wife has gotten involved in the subdivision community Facebook group. So she posts all sorts of crap. Good and bad. We were praising our trash company a couple weeks ago because my dumb butt forgot to take the can out to the road. And in my entire life, every trash company I've ever had, if you forgot to take the can out to the road, they just pass you on by. Well, they stopped at the house, walked up to the house, checked to see if there was something in the can, wheeled it out to the truck, emptied it, and then put it back by the house, and then drove on. Which I'm like, that's above and beyond, way above and beyond. And my trash can, one of the wheels had come off of it, and I had popped it back on there best I could. And I guess when he wheeled it out, it fell off on him. And so, without me having to call anybody or anything, a couple days ago there was a guy in my driveway putting a new set of wheels on the trash can. You know, that might be what's causing it. Because, I mean, as you can see, the Y is way off center and way short. And yes, I'm over extruding just a smidge. Yeah, so my trash company goes above and beyond, and so we were posting on the community Facebook group that if anybody's not happy or anybody's just moving in, call these guys because they're top notch. They are awesome. Their name is funny, but everything else about them is great. The name of the company is Stinky Pinky. I kid you not, and their trash truck is pink, and some of their garbage cans are. Thankfully, I got a regular colored garbage can with just a pink sticker that says Stinky Pinky. And I went out to talk to the guy while he was putting the new wheels on the trash can. And I said, I figured I'd have to call somebody or something. He goes, no, if our drivers report any kind of problems with, see any kind of problems with the trash cans, they report them. And then he's like, I come out and fix them. I don't know. It may be the same company. They could be a nationwide chain or something. But they are fantastic. They are a lot better than my calibration cube, which the Z is all sorts of crazy. You can't make anything out of it. Yeah, you can call whatever here. You can call whatever trash service you want. There's like 4 different trash services in my subdivision. And when we first moved here, we called around, and one of the trash services wasn't even taking new people. They're like, we have all we can handle. We're not taking any new customers. And then another one was like, their price was high and their rules were really strict, and then we found Stinky Pinky, whose rules were a little looser and their price was a lot better. So their price was the best, and they do amazing service, and they're pretty easy about stuff. Like the one that was really rigid was like, if anything doesn't fit inside your can, you have to call ahead of time, and it's an additional charge. And Stinky Pinky says, if you've got something that doesn't fit inside your can, as long as it's only like one article, there's no reason to call, no additional charge, unless it's over a certain amount of weight, and that they don't want you setting a appliance out there or something and trying to get them to haul it off for free. But that's understandable. Coffee, I feel better. That's Oh, I'm so sorry, John. I had Waste Management back in St. Louis, and they were awful. They were terrible. They were extremely expensive, and didn't want to work with you in any way. If you needed anything from them, forget it. Yeah, so, oh, that's weird. So the bottom layer, where it normally goes diagonally across, if I can get it to focus on that. There you go. It goes diagonally across in some places, but then when it gets over here, it goes straight across. That's not right. Another calibration cube down, another fail. Well, I guess that would be the benefit of it being like city controlled. The city puts pressure on them, then they've got to listen. Because they don't want the contract to go to somebody else. Well, yeah, it's a learning tool. That's right, and so I've learned that I'm going to have to dive more into the y-axis of this printer. Yep, that's what I learned. I'm going to have to dive into the y-axis of this printer. Perhaps the stepper motor was damaged from being over voltaged for a while, because I don't know how long it was like that. I don't know if it was like that before Chris sent it to me and he was running it over voltaged. I don't know if it got that way in transit, and then the couple of times I tried to print with it, it was running over voltage and messed it up. So I'm going to pull stepper motor and wheels off of the Ender 2, put them on the Tornado over there. Put them on the Tornado. It seems to be, I mean, I cleaned the thing up while I had it all apart. And I had even checked the tension on the belts and the eccentrics before, but didn't notice the flat spot before. So, I don't know. Maybe a chunk came out of one of the wheels. I'll check it after the stream. We're gonna get this Tornado printing. I'll get it printing good, just well enough to realize that salmon skinning will be an issue. I haven't, I haven't even dove into the thing enough to print enough to be bothered by salmon skinning. But we've come a long way with it. I mean, this time last week it was sitting in pieces. So we're coming along. We'll get it taken care of. One way or another. So what do you guys think about, not to add fuel to the fire, what do you guys think about the guy that's dogging Prussia and calling out Walter and can't even get the name right and can't even get the names of the people who work at Prussia right? It's like, that's Shane right there. That's not Shane. That's not Shane. We know Shane. That's not Shane. And, you know, he wants to know why people have so much animosity towards him. Well, people have animosity towards you because you are saying bad things about people in the community that have done more for the community than you've ever thought about doing. You know, everything everything I've seen from that guy comes across as what he's doing for himself. You know, it comes across very me. And that's not what this community's about. This community is about us. And being welcoming, and let's bring some more people in. And, you know, getting upset over clones, if it's a clone of an open source product, it's fine. It's open source. That's the point. Yes, where you can, you should support the person who created the original open source design, because supporting them supports further innovation where possible. But if it's open source, that means the company itself, when they created it, planned on it being copied by other people, and they're okay with it. So if they're okay with it, why do you have a problem with it? But he's also very egotistical. He may be smart, but your intelligence, the value of your intelligence is capped when you don't use it for good, when you use it to justify just yourself and your own means. While somebody, you know, utilizing their intelligence to better the entire community and move us all forward, that has a much higher value. Yeah, definitely a clickbaiter. I've seen that, and I've watched a few of his videos. I am not subscribed though. I am not subscribed because he just, too many times he rubs me the wrong way. He annoys me. And that's the me aspect of this thing. He annoys me. I don't know if he annoys everybody else, but he annoys me. And he's like, this guy here repeatedly attacking me. I'm like, that's not an attack. If you think that's an attack, you don't know what an attack is. You're trying to sensationalize somebody disagreeing with you. That's not someone disagreeing with you is not an attack. People disagree with me all the time. It's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. You have your opinion, I have mine. That's the great thing about opinions. Everyone's entitled to one. Yeah. And again, you know, if you share stuff out there, you can't really get upset about somebody using it or copying it, and if they were smart enough to put it out there and profit from it, in a way that was legal for them to do so, you know, like he brings up the guy that's the head of Marlin, that, you know, Marlin is open source and he's not making money off of it, and you know, but that's not what he's in it for. That's why he shares it with us. He could very easily have made that closed source and make sure that any printer using his firmware was paying him a royalty, licensing. But that's not how he chose to do it. That's the same thing with the things I've put on Thingiverse. Now, I know things I've put on Thingiverse aren't anything spectacular. They are what they are. But I'm sharing them with you guys. And if somebody copies it and modifies it, that's great. I did put a non-commercial license on it, so you can't profit from it. But because I'm choosing not to profit from it. Now, could I have just as easily made those models and put them up on one of those sites that sell STLs? Yes, I could have. But I don't feel like it doesn't add value to the community to do that. And I don't think my models are even at a point where they're worth spending money on. You know, I'm like, I just want to put them out there and get people out there printing my stuff and enjoying it. And if somebody copies it along the way, it's fine. You know, like I said, I put a non-commercial attribution license on it. Thanks, Roy. You know, so if somebody wants to take my design, modify something, and then by all means do it. Just tag me in the attribution that's where you got it, and share it with the community like I have. That's, you know, that's what I think makes this great. Because, you know, like, I've looked at, let's see where it's at this point. I haven't looked lately. There's a guy that's trying to get a Kickstarter for, where's he at? Did they take it off the page already? Looks like they did. He must not be doing well, and they must have taken down the Kickstarter. Huh. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Yeah, so now granted, what people that are backing this project, they're getting a completed vehicle. But this guy's trying to get $125,000 to do this on Kickstarter, and he's copied an actual real-world vehicle. So did he get the licensing from the company that made the real thing? See, that's why I don't you know, copy something exact. I don't make. Now, I could sit down and design a MRAP, which is what that is. I could sit down and design my own MRAP and put it up, but I would put it up on Thingiverse for free. You know, eventually they would go to my Patreon supporters first, which, you know, is my way of saying thank you for the support. But, you know, this guy is trying to get, where is it? So for $50, you get the basic vehicle, which I don't know what the basic vehicle looks like. Which, I mean, he's, you know, got some nice stuff in here, and it's being produced, I assume, going to be produced by a company, like a manufacturing company in China. But it's like, you know, $175 for two of them that have all the accessories. So $175 gets you two of that. And, you know, I'm looking at my designs and going, you know, I'm sharing my stuff for free. You just got to spend the money on the plastic to print it. And you know, maybe I need to get a little more intricate with some of my details like they are with this. This is kind of cool. It has some nice features to it. And it's a big vehicle, but you know, is it worth, you know, $175 for two of them? And they're saying of the 125,000, 84 grand is in tooling, molds, and production. You know, so all this money, and how much of it's going to be left for the guy actually, you know, there's not going to be anything left for the guy that's designed it unless it goes over its mark, which I don't think it's going to. Actually, I don't think it's going to succeed even at this rate. It's cool, you know, and I like it. But then I see other things on Kickstarter that I think, well, maybe I should get into designing this kind of stuff. Like, you know, I see people that are selling, or on Kickstarter, their dungeon tiles and things like that, and they're making tens of thousands of dollars for the 3D models. But that's not what I got into this for, you know. Although it wouldn't, you know, kill me to see a little return on it. But you know, full disclosure, you know, I have 10 Patreon backers at $27 a month. I send $10 of that to Walter. So my amount goes up like $17 that's sitting in my creator balance every month. And my plan is, whenever that creator balance gets to a big enough number to buy something cool for the channel, I'll buy something cool, and we'll, you know, if I get a couple $100, you know, in there at some point, I'll snag me a like an Anycubic Castle Linear Plus or something, and we'll put it together and we'll use it to print stuff that I'm designing on the channel. I haven't added up the total cost, which would be, it's a variable expense because it's going to depend on, did you print your tires in TPU? Did you print them in PLA? What brand of filament did you use? I am tempted, because I need to make a assembly guide anyway. I am tempted to sit down and print a version 1 of the VSV, print all the parts and not assemble any, get a total weight on the material and use the same PLA for all of it, so we would have a known value of the PLA by weight, and add it all up with supports and all, and see. Does anybody know how accurate is Cura when it says there's 5 grams of plastic in this? Is Cura accurate on that? Because if so, I could take and, you know, I could go to desktop, VSV, 2-door, and VSV frame, hit prepare. Oh wait, I need to generate supports. Crap. Prepare. So yeah, Cura says the frame is 145 kilograms, or 145 grams, 145 kilograms, God, 145 grams of plastic. How accurate is that? Because I could take and slice each piece and use those measurements as a guesstimate, then add it all up and see how much plastic it is. So let's see. part. Using my Askewed View 3D pen, which doesn't want to write for me right now. Part, weight, frame, 145 grams. I use 20% for everything when I'm building these. I know I could probably get away with a little bit less, but I want the part to be fairly rugged and rigid. When you print it, what are you typically using, Roy? Tire open, rotate 90. Multiply 3 more of them. Okay. Yeah, I think 20% is what I found to be both relatively quick to print and plenty rigid. That even if a kid got a hold of them, they're less likely to break the actual pieces. Now, they may break them apart and you have to glue something back together, but which I can't say would be the same case for like the functional VSV with the springs and all that. The springs would be more delicate. Tires, 67 grams. Multiply 3. Prepare. Say gray parts. And I know this is just giving a rough estimate. $95 grams. Clear the build plate. Good morning, Don. Green parts. Front clip. $125. Rear clip. Prepare. $53 grams. Pillar. $22 grams. Doors. 25 grams. Wheel. Rotate it. Come on. 90 degrees. Multiply it. 3 copies. Prepare. Sorry, this is kind of boring. But that brought up a good question. And I don't know how accurate this is, but I'm curious now myself. So we'll go with these figures and just see. And then I'll sit down at some point and print the actual thing. $60 grams for the wheels. And then we'll compare it to the rough figures. Okay, well those are parts that aren't needed for the base model. So, given that, go to the calculator. Clear. 145 plus 67 plus 95 plus 125 plus 53 plus 22 plus 25 plus 60. So using Cura's figures, we're at 592 grams of plastic for the base model. So call it 600 grams. 600 grams of plastic for the base model. This pen would stay writing. Show them your pen doesn't work. 600 grams of plastic. So say you buying inland PLA at $15 a kilogram. Times. So you're looking at about $9. If you were buying inland PLA, printing it in inland PLA at $15 a kilogram, you're looking at about $9 worth of plastic. No, but you know, the electricity costs on these machines is negligible. It really is. Unless you're talking about, because again, that's going to vary from machine to machine. Now, if you're running any cubic Chiron with a 1,000-watt power supply, then it's not that negligible. But you know, most of these printers, you know, even a printer as big as the S4, the draw on the power supply is not that significant. So yeah, you could, yeah, the FK1. You flip the FK1 on and the lights dim 3 counties over. But you know, again, so that's a cost that's going to vary, but that's a cost that you're expecting and willing to get into. And just like the costs on materials vary. If somebody decided they wanted to print one of these in all protopasta, protopasta is, most their colors are what, $30 for a half a kilo? And you need more than a half a kilo for this? So you would be looking at, you know, $40 worth of material. thereabouts. So yeah, if you wanted to print it in Protopasta, yeah, okay, and it starts getting more expensive. If I wanted to print one, and I do, if I wanted to print one in this, the aniline color changing lava filament that goes from black to brown to yellow, which kind of looks more black to orange to yellow. If I wanted to print it in that was $34 for a kilogram. 1 kilo was $34. So, you know, $20 or so if I printed it in all that. But of course I wouldn't print it in all that because I would want different colors for different things. But so, you know, costs are going to be variable depending upon what material you use. And I don't know how expensive TPU is. I don't own any TPU. If you wanted to print your tires in TPU, the tires are 67 grams. You need 67 grams of TPU. So you need 67 grams of TPU. For the parts that I printed in gray, you need 240 grams. For the body color stuff, you need 178, 180, 200, 225, 285, 285 grams of the body color stuff. All right, I'm switching to a different writing utensil because my Askewed View 3D pen won't print. Or write. Print. So that because of printing. So we said 225 grams here. No, we didn't. We said 225, 285 grams. It's 285 grams of that color. 240 grams. So if you got 1 kilo of plastic for the body color and 1 kilo for the frame and the other parts that are colored the same as the frame, you could print 3 complete Jeeps with 1 kilo of the body color and 1 kilo of the secondary color. And then your tires, if you wanted to print them in TPU, you're only using 67 grams with a kilo of TPU. You could print a bunch of tires. You can turn into a tire shop. But so say someone who has not printed one of these yet, they decide they want to print a Jeep and they want to print it blue and gray. They would order 1 kilo of blue, 1 kilo of gray, and they'd order their TPU for their tires if that's what they wanted to print it in, or PLA, whatever, you know, the third color. That one you're not going to use much of, so it would even be advisable if you already had the material laying around to just use that. You could almost print those with a generous sample from somebody. But you'd order a kilo of the body color and a kilo of the secondary color, and you could print 3 Jeeps if you had no failures. But that's even leaving you a little bit of room for failures, because you can't quite get to 4 because you're at 285 grams for the body color. Although with no failures, and if you chose to print the wheels a different color than the body, because I printed the wheels when I did the basic Jeep the same color as the body. Take the turret kit out here. So, basic Jeep, what we're talking about is this right here. If you wanted to print just this, you could get 3. If you did the wheels in a different color than you did the body, you could get 4 out of that kilo if you had no failures. Oh, wait, yeah. Let me get the webcam close up. All right. So you could print just this 3 times with 1 kilo of the color and 1 kilo of the secondary color. And then, you know, if you have a little black laying around, either PLA or TPU for your tires, or, you know, I was thinking the other day it might be cool to print one that the tires weren't black. I was thinking about doing something crazy like a orange and purple Jeep, and because I do have some orange and purple laying around. So yeah, you could print 3 exactly alike and have some left over of both colors at the end if you had no failures. And I would recommend... Oh, I didn't do the interior. Crap. I knew I forgot something. Where's the interior? It's under brown part. Oh, there it is. I forgot to do the interior, guys. I'm sorry. See how many grams that is. No, he hasn't come for a visit, and I haven't taken it on a trip. Okay, so 52 grams. And I chose to print mine black, so it would be on the same budget as my tires, because my tires are PLA. So again, 52 grams, that's not that much. Whatever color you decided to do, you know, if you had a kilo laying around, you'd print the interior like, what, 19 times? So that's what I'm going to say. If you have the rolls already, your total cost isn't that much. If you were ordering from the beginning, again, you could vary the thing out color wise and go a whole bunch of different colors on stuff if you wanted to. But just how I printed it here, there's only 3 colors involved. So if I ordered 3 rolls of filament, an order of black, an order of green, and a roll of silver, so what this is, I could print this Jeep 3 times and still I'd have lots of black left, and I'd have quite a bit of the silver left. The green would be almost gone after 3. You know, I was thinking about trying. I've got a small roll. I don't know if it's any good. It could be bad because it's the small roll that came with the A8 when I got it of the natural clear. But I thought about doing my not multi-material, but my multi-part grill, the sport grill, and printing the headlights in that. And see what it looks like. To this point on the sport grill, I printed the headlights in silver, which that's not stamped down good. There we go, better. Hey, John. So, you know, the sport grill, there's a little more involved in it, but again, if you already had the black and the silver laying around, you could print Pretty easy. The winch is a patron exclusive. Some parts I leave for Patreon supporters only. Which that was weird. Flexed. Anyway. The functional VSV will it still needs a few tweaks before it goes to the public, but it's getting close to going public. John's not here. Red Light's here. How you doing, Mike? They got you out in the crane today? So yeah, if you had no filament on hand at all and you wanted to print one, and if you did it in just the 3 basic colors like I did, you know, say you were doing inland PLA at $15 a kilo, you would spend $45, and then that $45 you would print 3 Jeeps, and you would have plenty of black left over and a little bit of silver left over. So the cost isn't that bad. It really isn't. Some of the projects I have coming up, the cost is going to be insane. When I get to the hauler is going to be crazy, because the hauler, the trailer is a meter long, and the body, the cab is another half a meter long and big and bulky. I haven't sat down to figure that out yet. I need to figure out what that's going to be, because I may have to reach out for some filament sponsors, and I've already got at least one person interested in sponsoring the filament for that. I need to get the design done though, and this computer in its current state is been holding me back a little bit. But we're going to be off and running here in just another month. Just another month, we're going to be off and running and hitting it hard. Yes, this is the one with the engine in it. But I need to... One of the things I need to tweak is the hinges on the hood are not good. So I got to rework those. But there you go. The hinges on the hood are not good. They've got to be reworked totally. And maybe part of that is because I did a 3-piece hood and glued it together. It could be causing me some of the grief, because I was trying to do a multi-colored hood without having a multi-material unit, which it came out okay. It looks good sitting on a shelf that way, but it has some issues. And the sport roof is on Thingiverse now, and so is the sport grill. So, somebody wanting to print the Jeep can take just the basic parts and don't print this roof or this grill, and print instead this roof, this grill, and if I can get... I'll just pull the roof off. Hold on. There we go. And those seats, because they are a 2-part snap fit seat, you print the inner insert and you print the outer shell, and they snap together, and no gluing necessary to do that. And then the sport steering wheel is also part of the sport package on Thingiverse. Black portion of the hood. Yes. Yes, it is. There is a... it allows more room for that engine where it bumps up into it. That's all coming. That's all coming. It's in the works. And it'll be available as soon as I get it done to Patrons first, of course. So yeah, if you just take the basic Jeep and you wouldn't print this roll bar, don't print the roll bar, don't print this window, and instead print this roof with the door inserts and this windshield, and then instead of the one-piece single color grill, you print the 3 prints necessary to make that up. Those parts do have to be glued. Glue them in, you got a nice cool looking sport grill. Yes, that was the second design. That is the second design. That is one of it still needs work, because what I want to do, part of what I'm having a problem with, I think, is the hinge. I think the hinge needs to be built into the hood, because my hinge keeps breaking loose even trying to glue it. It was not meant for that kind of torsional stress. So I need to build the hinge into the sides of the hood. And yeah, I haven't done that yet. No, that is not released yet. That is not even in beta yet. That was me testing it and not being happy with it. That's where we're at. I can put those up, but you may have the same problems I'm having with the separate hinge pieces. I can put them up as they stand today if you want, Roy. But I do like how the engine bay came out, and I do want to make the engine bay a multi-material print at some point to add some color to like the valve covers and things like that. And it's supercharged V12. The thing to keep in mind when you print this out is there is some support needed, and that'll have to be carefully removed from under the air intake box there. But I can put those files as they stand now up if you want to print them where they're at. Just know ahead of time that you're probably going to have to do some fiddling with them. Yeah, that would be why I had to. The first one I printed didn't work either, and that's when I went back and scooped out the middle. So sorry about that, Roy. I'll put those up for you today, as soon as I get off of here. And actually, we've reached that time. We've been streaming for 2 hours. Oh, really? It didn't give you any issues at all with the air intake box? Oh man, working mini V8 engines, that would be crazy. That 2 hours did go quick today. It felt like it flew by. Um, so yeah, if anybody who wants to print the Jeep that was being showcased earlier, again, that one's been on Thingiverse for a while, and then the most recent edition of the Sport Upgrade Kit replaces the steering wheel, replaces the roof and the grille, and replaces the seats with a 2-part seat, so you can do a 2-color seat. Feel free to download that and do it. I would love to see what you guys come up with. I'm still waiting on the Team Orange Jeep that was teased to me a while back. Never let the machines win. And I don't know if you pronounce his name Terry or Thierry. He's been printing an all black, like night ops version of the Jeep. He's put some stuff up on Twitter so you can see where he's at on it. And of course Roy has printed the Jeep and a bunch of other stuff. So they're starting to pop up out there. Your Team Orange Jeep, man. That you teased me with the picture of the failed dash pic, and then that's all I've seen. All I've seen is your failed dash. I haven't seen the rest of it. But they're starting to pop up out there, which is cool, which I think is amazing, and thank you guys so much that are doing that. We got a rough estimate on the amount of plastic it takes to print them, and so the dash piece, you're still having trouble with the dash. Roy might be able to offer some suggestions with that since he's printed the dash more than once. Because the Hammerhead just uses a modified version of that same dash, and the four-door Jeep uses a modified version of the same dash. So Roy has printed the dash a number of times. So he might be able to offer you some advice as far as orientation and such. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it when you get it. Oh, okay. I'm looking forward to seeing it when you get a chance to get it all printed and put together. Yeah, I understand, man. Time is the most valuable commodity we have, and we are often so short on it. But yeah, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Yeah, Roy, I will put the multi-part hood that I printed up on the Patreon files here in just a few minutes, so you can download that. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's stream. But thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate y'all very much, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Hang out with Mike Whaley tomorrow on his channel, and thank you guys for stopping by at Tanner 3D, and we'll see you next time.